Hello everyone. Welcome to a new installment of Am I the Asshole? If you like hearing Reddit stories, it would greatly support the channel if you could give it a thumbs up or subscribe. Now let's dive into our first story. Am I the asshole for a French joke I made? So this past weekend, a couple of friends and I met up. One of them brought along someone new, a woman who came from France. We all talked for a while about her country and her language. At some point, I decided to make a joke, and I told her, it sucks that Americans don't really know any French beyond basic words and phrases like bonjour, merci, voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? For those who don't know, that last sentence means, do you want to sleep with me tonight? It was a famous line from a song that I thought Americans were pretty familiar with and would know that line. Apparently, she didn't get the reference and she got really upset after. She told everyone else what that sentence meant, and they said I was an asshole. I repeatedly told her I wasn't asking her to sleep with me, that it was just a joke about a song. But she wasn't hearing any of it, and it kind of ruined the night for everybody. My friends are still saying I should apologize, but I don't feel like I did anything wrong besides make a joke that fell flat. Am I the asshole? Edit. I wasn't expecting this many comments. A couple of people asked what exactly the joke was. The joke was that Americans only knew basic French phrases, and that sentence is anything but basic. It was supposed to be ironic humor. My thought process was that the joke was at the expense of Americans, not her, and that if anyone could appreciate jokes about Americans, it would be a French person. But that being said, I've read through a lot of comments people made here. A lot of you said I'm the asshole, a lot of you said I'm not, but that I should apologize anyway, and a lot of you said she was overreacting. I've done a little thinking, and I've decided that despite my intentions, maybe I should have been more considerate of her feelings. Even if my joke wasn't directed at her, I probably should have considered that a joke like that wouldn't have landed the way I wanted, whether it was due to cultural differences or just misunderstanding. And maybe I shouldn't have been so defensive afterward. I probably should have just apologized after she got upset, even if that wasn't what I wanted to happen to her at all. I'll apologize to her in person the next time I see her. My friends are thinking of hanging out again next weekend, and I've let them know. If she doesn't accept my apology, that's fine. I'll move on with my life, but she deserves one anyway, and I might have to work on my material as well. Thanks for all the feedback. Not the asshole. First, it's a pretty common song. There's even an episode about it in Gilmore Girls. Second, you explained yourself. Once that explanation came, the pearls should be unclenched. Third, there are much ruder ways to ask someone to make the beast with two backs in French. Oh, and if you want a good Franglish joke, why do the French eat just one egg for breakfast? Because one egg is un œuf. There's even an episode about it in Gilmore Girls. I can't explain how this isn't as culturally impactful around the world as it was in North America. Pulling out that as reference to a French person would be equally as baffling. Then refer to point number 2. When you are mixing cultures, you have to be prepared for some faux pas. I cut a wedge of cheese wrong when visiting a French acquaintance and his family. Even the 7-year-old literally gasped. We both had to roll with it. On that same trip, I used my remedial French to point out the adorable ducks in the lake to his son, and he had to let me know I literally said, "Look at the little assholes." Is everyone okay? You're not an asshole per se, but if you accidentally upset someone, then you should apologize. It seems like your American friends didn't understand the reference either, so you can't really call her ignorant. Take it at face value and realize what you just told this total stranger. Even if it is a song, it's a jarring thing to hear. If someone referenced something raunchy in Spanish when I was the only one that understood, I'd be offended too. Sorry that not everyone knows Lady Marmalade. Maybe you should have sang it, but at this point, please apologize. Edit. OP is the asshole for not apologizing for making someone uncomfortable with a sex reference, no matter how innocent the initial interaction seemed to them. LeMayo. You're the asshole for not apologizing. You didn't mean to make her uncomfortable, but you did. Many women hear a ton of sexual jokes and are sick of it. Don't say sexual stuff to strangers. Just because it's a reference doesn't really make it any better. Kind of surprised at all the NTA responses. You said you repeatedly told her I wasn't asking her to sleep with me. But I don't feel like I did anything wrong besides a joke that fell flat. Exactly. All you did was make a risky, somewhat offensive joke. It wouldn't have killed you to just let it go and apologize. By holding firm, you've made this a bigger deal than it needs to be. And for that, you're the asshole. Let your ego go and just apologize. Am I the asshole for demanding that my fiancé's parents change their plans to have a vacation at the same place as our honeymoon? My fiancé and I have our wedding coming up in April. We had brainstormed for a while on where best to spend our honeymoon. We went over the more popular and well-known places, but then landed on a more offbeat destination that I felt would truly be a great place for us to start our life as a married couple. I've been looking forward to it, just being the two of us. I'll know he has a really hectic work schedule, and we were going to make the most out of this. A couple of days ago, he told me that his parents had been impressed by how hyped I was about it, and were planning on going there for a vacation too, largely overlapping with our dates. They're staying at the same hotel as us. I was livid. They can go any other time. Why now? He said he had suggested that, but his mom said they had taken time off for the wedding too, and it worked well into their plans. Also, that since we're going to be going back, it'll allow them to maybe see us a few times before we leave. I was almost in tears. I was so angry. He tried to reassure me, saying they had promised it'll be two separate things, and they won't be inserting themselves in our honeymoon. They want us to enjoy it, and they'd be doing their own thing. I want to believe it, but I know his mom. I like her as a soon-to-be mother-in-law, but she can be very clingy and routinely laments how far he, and now us, are from them. So I just have a feeling the two plans are not going to be as independent as he thinks they'll be. I vented about it to my parents too. My mom agreed with me that this isn't right. My dad is more on the fence about it. He doesn't think everything is ruined. I've demanded my fiancé make them change their plans. He says he asked them to. They promised to do their own thing. What can he do? Tell them he doesn't believe them and call them liars. I messed up here and said if that's what it takes. He got quiet. I realized that was too much and sincerely apologized for crossing the line. This has been eating me up. I was envisioning a certain type of honeymoon, and this happened. Am I the asshole? Update. Not the asshole. As much as it sucks, the only way to truly secure an IL-free honeymoon would be to cancel your plans and go somewhere else. Not ideal, but there's no way you're not going to accidentally bump into them the whole time they're there. A few other comments have said this too. I truly appreciate what you're saying, and I know I'm overreacting here, but this makes me want to bawl my eyes out. Not overreacting. If you think this will change post-wedding, think again. This is your future. When people show you who they are, believe them. When people show you who they are, believe them. And this is a mama's boy, not the asshole. This is truly manipulative of your ILs. Your husband doesn't see this, and that's a concern. Your ILs absolutely intentionally did this, and you will see them more than you want to, and they will insert themselves into your honeymoon. This is just gross and narcissistic of them. You can change your own plans, go to a different place, or just not marry a guy who's a pushover to his parents. Not the asshole. Your mother-in-law is absolutely inserting herself into your honeymoon, and your fiancé is being way too passive about it. She saw how excited you were and decided to crash what is supposed to be an intimate and once-in-a-lifetime trip. Well, do our own thing is meaningless when she's already ignored a major boundary just to be close to her son. Your fiancé needs to wake up and realize that this isn't just an inconvenience. It's controlling and inappropriate. He can do something about it. He can tell them point blank that this is unacceptable, and if they don't change their plans, you two will. Honestly, you might want to start looking at new destinations now, because if she's this clingy, I'd bet she'll be finding ways to accidentally run into you the whole trip. You really need to think what this means for your life ahead, and if your fiancé will be this passive about her inserting herself into other aspects of your lives. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.